wedding photographers and filmmakers, a large social media following, or sponsored Facebook and Instagram ads? Which one is more effective to bring in more profit? And do you need a large social media following to build a financially thriving wedding photography or filmmaking business? What's up guys, Jordan Correces here, co-owner of the WLMA, the most result-based business mastermind for wedding photographers and wedding filmmakers worldwide. Almost 1,000 students right now, all over the world. We've helped a ton of them scale to six-figure and deep six-figure years. Here's a group shot of us at one of our retreats. And today I have a really special video for you. But before we get started, make sure to like, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on some of our best content. And if you don't want to forget and want to learn some of our best six-figure scaling strategies for wedding photographers and filmmakers, be sure to text the words "I'm interested" to the number on the screen. We will reply back with one of our best free trainings to help you scale, access to our free coaching calls as well. And after this video, don't forget to check out the description of this video. We have a ton of free resources to help you scale. Now, without further ado, let's get started. A large social media following versus sponsored advertising. What is more effective to build more profit in your business? This is a question we get all the time. And really, there is no bad strategy to do. But if you're relying solely on one of these strategies, there are pros and cons that come with both of these things. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the pros and cons of both of these strategies, building a large social media following or running sponsored ads on Instagram and Facebook to generate leads. So this way, by the end of the video, you can analyze that data, that information, and decide which is the best route for you to scale your wedding photography or filmmaking business. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started into the good stuff. So let's start off with the pros of a large social media following. So the pros as far as a large social media following are as follows. So number one, let's say you have 10, 20,000, maybe 50,000 followers. Usually for wedding photographers, I see them in that 10 to 20,000 followers range. And the great thing about this is it is easier to nurture that following and build a raving fan base. If you have a large following like that, it's very easy to build die-hard fans of you. Number two, especially if you are being consistent and engaging with your following, you can stay top of mind. If you've built up these die-hard fans, they're likely never gonna forget about you. And they'll likely spread more word of mouth about you as well. And finally, another pro with building a large social media following is it does build social proofing. Sometimes you'll have wedding clients choose to work with you simply because of your following. There could be competitors of yours who are better than you, who are better fits for that prospective client. But once in a while, you'll have wedding clients choose to work specifically with you only because of your social proofing from your social media following, which is a really awesome thing as well. But what about the cons? The cons of a large social media following are as follows. And some of these are very specifically for the wedding photography and filmmaking industry that I've seen time and time again. Number one is it's gonna be mainly photographers following you. And this is great if you want to sell education to fellow photographers or filmmakers, but if you're really trying to scale your wedding photography or filmmaking business with getting more bookings, this won't necessarily help you. And this mainly happens because of how the, say, Facebook or Instagram algorithm works. Let's say you post a piece of content that kind of goes viral. It's mainly gonna go viral to other fellow photographers or filmmakers who fall in love with the work. They wanna follow more of your content because it inspires their work as well. They wanna learn from you, but the algorithm doesn't necessarily bring it to newly engaged couples. And because of this, your wedding couples and your leads can quickly run dry, even if you have a lot of followers. And I've seen this happen a lot. I have some colleagues who have maybe 10 to 20,000 followers, but they still have not hit that six-figure level in their business. And when their following runs dry of leads, the only thing they can think about on what to do is posting more, which kind of helps, but is not a predictable way to generate more leads. More of the same people who are not actually newly engaged couples will be seeing your posts, but that may not actually generate you profit. So when things run dry, it's also very hard to generate newly engaged leads into your following. You may get lucky and couples who are following you suddenly get engaged. Maybe you may build a little bit more word of mouth, but it is still not very predictable. You're still running the business by hope strategy, hoping there's someone who is newly engaged or a few people who are newly engaged who are going to see your post. Maybe you post some content that brings you in more followers, but they will still likely be mainly photographers or fellow filmmakers following you, not targeted newly engaged couples, because the algorithm, as far as organic, is not that targeted. So those are the pros and cons. As far as the pros, it's easy to nurture the following, stay top of mind, build a raving fan base, and it builds social proofing. Sometimes people will work with you just for the fact that you have a large following. As far as the cons, not targeted at all. It's mainly photographers that are following you, which is better for educators, not so much for wedding photographers and filmmakers who want more bookings. It can quickly run dry as far as leads, and when those leads run dry, it can be very hard to generate newly engaged leads into your following. Now, let's talk about the pros as far as sponsored ads. Now, when it comes to sponsored ads, you can do this on YouTube ads, Google ads, Facebook and Instagram ads. We've seen Facebook and Instagram ads still work out very, very well for the wedding photography and filmmaking industry. And the great thing about this is with sponsored ads is if you do know what you're doing, your leads will never run dry. If you truly know what you're doing, you can pretty much generate 20 to 50 newly engaged leads into your business every single month, sometimes 100 leads a month. So as long as you know what you're doing and you're consistent with it, you'll never have to worry about newly engaged couples not finding out about you. Another pro is because of how targeted you can make your sponsored ads, it will mainly be newly engaged couples following you. You can literally target your ads only towards newly engaged couples who have been engaged for 3 to 6 months, who are between a certain age range and like a certain type of brand. That's literally how targeted you can target Facebook and Instagram ads. Unlike organic algorithm that may mainly just bring you photographers. And this is huge here because this can be absolutely amazing for profit. I've seen colleagues who have 10 to 20,000 followers can't even hit the 6-figure level. Then one of our students has only maybe 4,000 to 5,000 followers. But because more newly engaged couples are actually following them, they're at close to 500,000 in their wedding photography business with their team. So this is extremely powerful when it comes to profit. The third pro is you can still build a large following. And the reason of this is because if you're running ads on Facebook and Instagram, you're automatically going to have newly engaged couples who are more curious and they actually follow you. And if you're running these ads consistently, you could easily be getting 20 to 50 newly engaged couples following your Instagram every single month. But it's actually targeted people doing so, not just photographers. It doesn't mean you'll necessarily become viral because of your sponsored ads and build like a viral following. It can happen, but you still will build consistent growth of a targeted audience who will actually buy your service with sponsored ads. The fourth pro is it is one of the fastest ways to scale. Me and the team, we've tested a ton of strategies in the wedding photography and filmmaking industry. We've helped a ton of our wedding photography and filmmaking students scale to the 6 figures in 6 to 9 months. And I have not seen that happen very often at all with other strategies. Now, as far as the cons, it does cost money. If you don't know what you're doing, it can get kind of pricey. But if you really do know what you're doing with sponsored ads, it may only cost about $50 to $100 a month, which is not very expensive at all. And you can easily turn that into $10,000 to $20,000 a month in revenue, sometimes hitting those $30,000 to $50,000 months. And the other con as well is it is a much larger learning curve and it is a more difficult skill set, because not only do you have to learn how to do the technical aspect of running these ads, learning the right targeting, how the algorithm works and how to manage those ads, you do have to learn copywriting, headlines, the right offers to use, which are just as important as the targeting and the technical aspects. So it does have a very large learning curve. But once you master that skill, it can bring back tenfold. So those are the pros and cons as far as sponsored ads. The pros are, if you know what you're doing, your leads will literally never run dry. Instead of just photographers following you, you'll actually have mainly newly engaged couples following you. And when it comes to profit, one of your competitors may have 10 to 20,000 followers, but only 100 newly engaged couples following them. But you could have maybe 3,000 followers, but 1,000 of those are newly engaged couples. So that's going to automatically just bring in much more profit. Another pro is you can still build a large following through using sponsored ads, and it is the fastest way to scale. As far as the cons, it obviously costs money. If you don't know what you're doing, it can be very pricey. If you do know what you're doing, you can cut those costs to be pretty cheap and bring in a lot of revenue. And the other con is it is a large learning curve. It is a much more difficult skill set to learn, but 100% worth it. And through doing this, we've been able to help a ton of our students to hit $10,000 to $50,000 months. Here's one of our students, Manny and Ashley from Is and Live Films. They just hit another $14,000 month. And here's what they recently had to say.
After joining WLMA, we booked our highest package of $6,500. And our highest month was $14,400.
So in conclusion with that, with a large social media following, it may be easier to build a raving fan base. You'll have more social proofing, which are all really good things, but also done right with sponsored ads, you can still build a large following and you'll never run out of leads. You'll have a much more targeted audience versus the more broad audience if you're using organic strategies to grow your Instagram or Facebook account. But what do you think as well? Do you think a large social media following is more effective? Do you think sponsored ads are and funnels are? Or do you think that you need both? What are your thoughts? And if you want to learn more about the best Facebook ad and Instagram strategies as far as advertising and how to create these marketing funnels as well, this is our team's specialty in the WLMA. If you want to learn these things, I have something really special for you. Make sure to text the words "I'm interested" to 423-825-9663. We'll actually text back within 24 hours our best free training so you can use that to scale your wedding photography or filmmaking business. And we'll also give you access to our free strategy sessions and coaching calls so we can actually work with you one-on-one to help you scale your business, see if and how we can help. We'll audit your business, help you get to your goals. And don't forget to check out the description of this YouTube video as well. We have a ton of free resources for you to help you scale. Anyways, guys, I hope that built clarity on the pros and cons versus a large following and sponsored advertising so you can figure out the best strategy that will work for you. I'm posting YouTube videos every single week, so if you don't want to miss out on some of our best content, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when we post our next video. And if you have any questions, we're always listening. Hit up the comments. We'll answer any questions that you guys have. Anyways, guys, I'll see you on the next one.